The corporate world is often sold to you as a team, a family, or a community. They use words like synergy and culture to make you feel like your job is a social environment. This is the first lie you must destroy if you want to win. The workplace is not a family, it is a hierarchy. And in every hierarchy, there are those who build and those who feast. If you have ever felt like you are being targeted by a toxic boss, sabotaged by a jealous colleague, or used as a scapegoat for someone else's failures, you aren't being unlucky. You are simply playing a game of chess without knowing the rules. Today, we are moving beyond social defense and into the realm of professional dominance. We are going to decode the strategies of the corporate assassin, how to protect your career, increase your authority, and outmaneuver the most difficult personalities in your office without getting fired. And pay absolute attention to strategy number 3. It is the strategic silence technique, and it is the single most powerful weapon you have in any meeting. I am your host, and this is The Human Decoded. To survive the corporate battlefield, you must first cultivate the professional wall. Most people fail because they bring their authentic self to work. They gossip, they complain, and they vent their frustrations. In an environment built on power dynamics, your emotions are ammunition. The first step to outmaneuvering a toxic superior is the information diet. You must stop treating your office like a confessional. Do not share your personal struggles, your political opinions, or your career doubts with anyone. When you give someone information, you give them leverage. A toxic leader feeds on the personal details of their subordinates because it allows them to predict your behavior and, if necessary, manipulate your mood. If you want to remain untouchable, you must become a black box. Be polite, be professional, and be competent, but reveal nothing about your private life. When they can't read you, they cannot control you. The second strategy is the paper trail armor. Toxic bosses rely on gaslighting, making you doubt your own memory, your own performance, and your own value. They do this by giving you vague instructions and then blaming you when the results aren't what they imagined. You stop this instantly by creating an impenetrable paper trail. Every conversation that happens verbally must be followed up with an email. Just to recap our discussion, I understand you want X by Y date. Let me know if I have that right. This is not bureaucracy. This is defense. When you have a time-stamped record of every request, you effectively disable their ability to gaslight you. You are no longer a he said, she said victim. You are a professional with documentation. The moment a toxic individual realizes you have a paper trail, they will leave you alone and find a target who is easier to manipulate. Now, we reach the third strategy, the one that will change the way you move through your entire career, the strategic silence. In meetings, the person who speaks the most is rarely the one with the most power. The person who speaks the most is usually the one who is anxious, or who feels the need to justify their existence. When you are in a high-pressure meeting and a toxic superior tries to put you on the spot or bait you into an argument, do not rush to fill the silence. Look at them, wait 2 seconds longer than is comfortable, and then answer with a concise, factual statement. This 2-second pause is a power move. It shows that you are not reactive. It makes the other person feel the weight of their own question. By mastering silence, you force others to reveal more than they intended, and you maintain control over the emotional temperature of the room. You become the person who is never panicked, never rushed, and always in control. The fourth strategy is the KPI mirroring. If you have a boss who is impossible to please, it is usually because they are operating based on their own internal fears and anxieties. They are focused on their own status. To win, you must stop trying to be liked and start being essential. You must identify the KPI, the key performance indicator, that your boss is being judged on. Does your boss care about speed? Does she care about cost cutting? Does he care about looking good in front of the board? Once you identify their obsession, you align your output directly to that metric. You become the instrument of their success. A toxic boss might not like you as a person, but they will protect you as an asset. You are no longer a person they can target. You are a partner in their own survival. You turn your enemy's ambition into your own shield. The fifth strategy is the exit velocity mindset. Even if you are a master of office politics, you must never allow yourself to become dependent on a single environment. The moment you stop looking for the door is the moment you become a hostage. Toxic environments thrive on the fear of transition. To maintain your power, you must always be market ready. Keep your skills updated, keep your network outside the office warm, and keep your options visible. This does not mean you have to quit. It means you have the psychological freedom of knowing you could quit. This exit velocity changes your demeanor. When you aren't afraid of losing your job, you stop acting like a subordinate and start acting like a professional peer. And paradoxically, that confidence is what keeps you secure in the position. The corporate world is a game of leverage, not a game of friendship. You are there to exchange your time and your intelligence for compensation and growth. If you find yourself in a toxic environment, you have two choices. You can either become a victim of the environment, or you can become the most skilled player on the board. You don't have to be a tyrant to dominate. You just have to be the most objective person in the room. The next time your boss tries to trigger an emotional response or a colleague tries to isolate you, remember, they are playing a game of ego. You are playing a game of strategy. Protect your information, document your work, master your silence, and stay focused on the objective. You are not a pawn in their system. You are the architect of your own career. Have you ever had to gray rock a toxic boss to survive? What was the one moment where you realized you had to change your strategy? Tell your story in the comments below. We are building a library of professional survival tactics, and your experience might be the exact lesson someone else needs right now. In our next episode, we will decode the power of the pivot, how to negotiate for a raise or a promotion when your leverage seems to be at zero. The office is your arena, and the game is just getting started. Until next time, stay professional, stay calculated, and keep decoding.